Hi everyone, Emma, Banger and Dan the dog trainer here. Happy Sunday. I forgot what day of the week it was then. Dan's very kindly come in. He's going to have a chat to us about two main things. How to get your family members involved with house training your puppy, and how to stop your puppies ragging the puppy pads and the grass mats. Now the reason that we're doing it on this page, you can hear those funny noises in the background, it's Pug asking for a chocolate. We've got guests in the back, Dan's family are here and Pug is demanding something from them. Yeah, so anyway, sorry about that, live video and all that. Yeah, you may or may not know that we have a puppy training group. As you see, Bang is very well trained here, being on live video. So in the puppy group, it's all focused on toilet training, and we get asked lots and lots of different questions, because toilet training your puppy is just so stressful, and it can really make life unpleasant with your new dog. So Top Dog, being focused on dog wee and weeing on artificial grass or carpets or wherever you've got a dog wee problem, we've got this puppy group, and I'll put the link in down below. Oh, yes, here's a very well trained puppy for you. So moving swiftly along, hopefully we'll be able to share this directly into the Top Dog training group. I have a magician's assistant at the back. I think we've managed to do it. Okay, so moving swiftly along before Banger gets in any more trouble. The first thing that we were going to talk about is puppy pads and how to stop puppies tearing them up and running about with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the people in our training group, they have our artificial grass puppy mats.
Yep.
And then some of them are using ordinary, you know, just sort of...
Usual puppy pads, yep.
Just usual puppy pads. Banger's trying this one out. It would actually be hilarious if Banger weed on it. Banger, get off. So, oh dear. Okay, fire away then.
Yeah, so obviously I've seen a few of the comments, and there's been lots of questions. I've had a few inboxes as well about, you know, my dog's doing really well with it, but they keep picking up the pads or the mats and playing with them or ripping them to pieces and things like that. The first thing we obviously need to understand, and most of us will probably understand this anyway, is the reasoning behind why the dogs are doing it. Once we understand the behaviour, we can then move on about what we can do about the behaviour. So if we take the grass mats first, obviously they're very good quality, so they're quite thick. Okay, and when a dog picks this up, they're getting a lot of sensations in their mouth. Okay, so dogs explore the world using their teeth. Okay, it can get them into a lot of trouble, unfortunately, but that's the way they do it. We explore with our eyes and our hands, and dogs explore with their teeth. Now with this, this could effectively turn into a toy. Once your dog picks it up, okay, you instinctively go and try and get it out of the dog's mouth. Okay, so you'll grab hold of it, and the dogs grab hold of the end of it. There's some growling. You're telling them to leave it, maybe even growling back at them as far as they're concerned. That's effectively turned the whole thing into a game. Okay, so you've got like a ragging game going on. And obviously some dogs like a ragging game. So we need to avoid that. Okay, and I'm going to go on to about, excuse me, how to get your dog to leave something without initiating a play game with them. And then also we need to take into account the puppy pads themselves. They're easily destroyed. Okay, and some dogs, unfortunately, they like to destroy stuff. Especially like bully breeds like staffies, they do like a good game of tag and destroy. Okay, so they will do that. Okay, but dogs in general, puppies in general, it's a good game, it's fun. Other things to bear in mind is obviously we're talking about puppies mainly. So we've got teething. Okay, so obviously that starts with about 16 weeks old, and that can last all the way up until about 8 months. Obviously this depends on the breed itself. So teething, obviously, just like humans, it can be achy, and they get a relief from it by chewing stuff. So we've got that into account as well. And as I said, the game side of things. So let's start with the game. I think it's probably the best way.
Yeah, absolutely. We're just sitting here.
Yeah, sit here and...
We're having our snacks.
Sit here and have a snack.
Carry on.
Yeah. So initiating the game itself is very easily done from a human part, and often accidentally. Because the way we see things is we go up to the dog and we're like, no, leave it alone, or whatever you're trying to do, or give me that, or, you know, trying to peel their mouth off of it and things like that. From a human perspective, that's what you would deem as a punishment. So that would be enough to be able to go up to a child and say, leave that, don't touch that, because they understand. Again, we're talking about dogs, so they don't understand. They can understand obviously body language and things like that, but unfortunately, if the dog is so focused on actually playing with it, you coming over and grabbing the other end of it and making a similar sort of noise they are, because they're growling, and you're going out going, leave it alone, and you're growling as well. It's a game as far as the dog's concerned. So we need to avoid that, because what you're doing is then rewarding a dog for a behaviour you don't want them to do. And obviously, if you're rewarded for a behaviour, the behaviour is going to continue. Yeah. Okay, so we need to avoid that. So we need to have a nice command that we can use in order to get your dog to drop something when you've asked them to. And I think that's quite important as a general rule. You know, if your dog picks up something, if you drop an aspirin on the floor, for instance, you want to be able to tell your dog to leave that alone, and they won't touch it. Yeah. So it's very important, I think, in a general perspective, to be able to teach that. I have got a video of me demonstrating what I call outs, but a lot of people will use different words with my dog Joey, which I'll upload onto your page after this. Okay, I'll put a link to it on the comments.
Yeah, onto the puppy group. That would be really fab.
And you can have a look and see how quick Joey releases it. Yes. Now, so to teach this type of thing, you want to be doing it positively. So it's going to be rewarding to do it. But when they go to grab something, okay, you're going to offer them something else. Okay, and they can hold that. That's the main thing. Yeah. When they're holding the right thing, they get praised for it. If they're holding the thing that you don't want to do, you can just give them a simple ah. Okay, but it's important to try and hold it still. Don't rag with the dog. Right. Okay. Okay, because this again is play.
Okay. So say you've caught them, you've spotted them, either grabbing hold of the grass mats or the papery puppy pad. Yep. Don't tousle it out of their mouths. Just tell them to leave it. Really, you need to have taught that command before. Absolutely. So and
I will do a little video for that as well, and I'll link that as well about how to teach a leave it or an out. Or
yeah, because you very kindly, we were just talking before we started, and you said for our puppy group. And I know you've got a new puppy group as well, haven't you? With the Top Dog group, it's just focused on toilet training.
Absolutely, yeah.
But on your new puppy group, it's going to be focused on all aspects. Of training a puppy. So we'll also let you all know about that. Yep. And you're going to do us a video on teaching a little one, a young lady we have over here, an assistant. How to train a dog to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's good. Now, how about when you come in and when you've been out and they've just shredded their papery puppy pads everywhere?
Okay. So this is a similar sort of thing as the previous video. So if anyone's watched the first video that we did together about when they mess in the wrong place or something like that, about how to react. So it's one of those things where when you walk into the house, you can see it and it's destroying you. Your initial reaction is like, oh, here we go again, I've got to have to clean all this up. And it's difficult not to react that way. But it's really important not to punish the dog for that. Mainly because they actually don't know what they're being punished for. So you're not actually teaching the dog anything. You're just walking in with the ump. Yeah. And I do get the comment a lot of times, when I walk in, they know they've done it wrong. They know they've done something wrong. No, what they've actually learnt is when you walk in and you've got the shredded paper, it puts you in a bad mood. So they've associated the shredded paper with you in a bad mood. They go, oh, she's back, she's grumpy. Yeah, I totally agree. And that's what they've learnt. They actually haven't learnt that what they've done is wrong. They've just they've added it together and that equals a bad time.
Absolutely, yeah.
So it's always about timing. Yeah. So the main thing to do when they've shredded something up like that is, unfortunately, you're just going to have to deal with it to start off with. Yeah. Until we've actually managed to teach them, don't touch that. That's not for chewing. Right. This is for chewing. You can have this, but that's not for chewing. Okay. So that's the first thing. And the second thing, again, I like people to do the same thing as I suggested with the toilet training. Is go in, if you see it shredded, try not to react to it. Yeah. Just kick the dog in the garden like you would normally do. While they're not watching, just clean it up. So we're just disassociating any sort of attention with this, because it may be a fact that they're doing it for attention as well. Okay. So if they've come in, you've left the house and they've gone, right, I'll tell you what brings them back. Yes. I shred this up and that brings them back.
Yeah, see, I think that's really fascinating that we don't actually understand what's going on in a puppy or a dog's head, do we? We see it from our perspective. And it's perfectly possible that that's what the puppy's thinking. So you go out and then they have this amazing time shredding things, and then magically you come back again. So there's no reason why the puppy wouldn't associate it ripping with you kind of magically.
Yeah, of course. If the timing's right, there's no reason why not. And it does happen. And there's some of the training old school sort of training would be, what you want to do is you want to shut the puppy in, go out the front door, wait a few seconds, and then sting back in and tell the dog off for doing that.
Okay.
And unfortunately, that's very old school sort of training. On paper, that should work, but again, the dog can also learn. I shut this up, the human comes back.
Yes.
Happy days.
Yeah.
So
That
that's
makes
why they
sense.
would continue to do that. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, off on a slightly different tangent. Certainly, when Banger was a child, Banger. I think most of you know Banger. We actually bought those incontinence pads, if you like. We got them from Boots. And they were expensive, but they were enormous. So they were probably 2 or 3 times the size of a puppy pad, and they had sticky on the back.
Yeah, sure.
And so once you ripped off the sticky tape, if you like, stuck them to the carpet, they really didn't move.
Yeah.
And they were really good. They were absolutely brilliant. Then you could make quite a large area with them. As you know, if you're a member of the group, and as Dan will agree, we tend to dissuade people, if we can, from using sort of traditional puppy pads.
Absolutely.
Simply because they smell and they feel like your rugs and your carpets.
Yes, absolutely.
And puppies don't understand why it's okay to wee on that thing that smells and feels like a carpet, and it's not okay to wee on the rug, and it becomes quite complicated. And this is why we have such success actually with artificial grass mats, because they don't feel or smell like anything else that you're going to find in your house, unless you're a bit weird.
Yeah.
Even I'm weird, and even I haven't got artificial grass carpets. And then also it makes the transition to outside really simple, because you can chuck them outside the back door. So with these also, although they are heavier, we find that most people's puppies after a few days get bored with playing with them and do pee on them. But sometimes people have a tray to put them in.
Absolutely.
And having the tray makes them less movable anyway, but you can just get some Velcro from Wix or from anywhere, double-sided Velcro. Stick a bit of Velcro on the tray and a bit on the back of the grass, and then it just holds them in place.
Absolutely.
So either on the floor or on the grass. The Velcro is quite easy to peel off, so it's not going to be a massive problem, but it just holds it a little bit steadier.
Yeah, no, that's a really good idea, yeah. And going back to the puppy pad sort of thing, is I'm in total agreement. I actually, personally, I don't like puppy pads.
No.
I never have done, and I've never trained any of my dogs to do
Excuse us.
Pardon you. So yeah, I never train the puppy pads because of that exact reason. It is more difficult to get a dog to forget the puppy pad and then go outside. Whereas because this sort of stuff it feels like grass, it looks like grass. It's such an easy transition to be able to move the dog outside. I mean, it's different if you haven't got a garden. If you live in a flat, of course. But even then, the puppy pads, when you take your dog out for a walk, you want to be able to say, yeah, everything that's green is and grassy is the stuff that you should be peeing on.
It has that sort of texture.
Yeah, exactly. And so you can still
absolutely.
train the same sort of thing. It's just you don't have the luxury of being able just to open your back door.
Yeah.
But like I said, in fairness, being in a flat is probably better because you have to go out with the dog.
Well, certainly we've got a few members in our group, quite a few actually, who are living in apartments and flats.
Yeah.
And then they've gone on from the artificial grass mats indoors to outdoor puppy toilets, the self-contained.
Sure. Like on the balcony sort of thing.
Yeah, balcony toilets that we do.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's exactly the same grass, so the dog completely understands it.
Yeah.
And it just makes it so much easier.
Yeah, because they'll go looking, where's my grass bit?
Yeah,
and it's
where's your
outside.
mat?
There you go.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And it's just completely simple. So if anybody's got any questions, do put them on. Have you got any questions, Paula?
Not yet, no.
No? That's fine. Well, that's because we're so good at explaining.
That's it.
Absolutely.
That's it. And yeah, and as I said, I mean, if there is any people want to know about how to teach them to go on there, I know you've got like a link up there as well on your thing. But if they want a video of it, I can I could do that. I could pop that on the page. And also with the puppies in general, you can always message me. But if I can't deal with it, like as a quick thing, as I said, we can go on the puppy page.
Yeah, absolutely.
My puppy page is MKDBT Puppy Advice and
Not
Behaviour.
that that's complicated branding.
No, it's because it's MK.
We need to talk to you about your branding. I think.
Well, it's MK Dog Behaviour and Training, but it's just a big mouthful in it. So MK Dog Behaviour and Training, Puppy Advice and Support. But I can put the link up on the page.
Yes, the link would be easy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
First 10 people get a discount on the page as well. There's already a couple people already joined, so if you want to join them,
Okay,
just let me
so
know.
just to explain, so you've started a puppy group because you're so good at this. and we found quite a lot of our puppy group people were asking questions that weren't toilet training related and needed somewhere else to go
absolutely,
for more all-round puppy training, if you like. So you started that. So that's a paid-for group.
Yep.
Where then people can get one-to-one tuition with you.
Yeah, so
there's a lot of videos.
Yeah, there. So there's a few videos in there already. It's a new group, so there's a few videos on there already. But it does open it up to the whole of the UK without having to worry about paying me to come to your house to actually do it. So I can, if there's requests, I can do them. So, oh, could you do a video of me doing this? No problem, I can do that. You've got private messages with me if you feel a bit silly about asking in front of the whole group. You can talk to each other, share stories, share ideas, and it's all, that's the idea of it behind it anyway.
Absolutely.
So,
okay, cool. So we can do that.
Yeah, sure.
So then our other exciting topic of the day was family members.
Yep.
And again, I think that can be quite stressful. So I'm looking here, and Paula's behind the camera. Paula's smirking because Paula knows exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So when you have a dog, a puppy, a rescue dog that you're trying to toilet train, and you're really focused on it, and then all the other buggers in the family don't bother. And it starts off all these arguments, and it's confusing the dog. You know it's confusing the dog. You're doing your best. And you come home from work, nobody else is bothered, dog's peed on the floor, everybody's just on their PlayStations, nobody's done anything, and it's driving you around a twist, and it's causing more and more frustration and more tension. So obviously our job at Top Dog is about trying to make your life as easy and happy with your dog as possible. So we're going to have a little look some advice on how to wrangle your teenagers and husbands. And I say that because actually you were telling me most of the time it's the lady of the household who is on it and very focused and doesn't want to have her rug peed all over, and it's all the rest of them that aren't helping.
Absolutely, yeah. So I would say a good 90% of my clients I deal with are women. People that contact me tend to be, again, 90% of them, they're women. It's a smaller percent with men. And this could be anything, toilet training, walking on lead, whatever it may be. Men tend to have a, I don't need to do that, don't worry about it, sort of attitude, whereas a woman's like, well, actually, no, I want a nice home that doesn't stink of wee. So, no, I don't want the dog peeing in the house, and I don't want my dog pulling me. And obviously the teenagers, especially now, they're very preoccupied, social media, computers and things like that, school, exams, they're under a lot of pressure as well, so they've got a lot going on, so sometimes when they just get home, they just want to just do whatever they want to do and ignore everybody. So what I tend to find is when I go out to a family, I can kind of gauge about who's listening and who's not, and if someone's not listening, that's fine. But I'm going to give them a specific job to do.
So when you go out to visit a family, you try to get everybody together, do you?
Yeah. So
is that the plan?
Yeah. Right. So if someone phones me and says, oh, "I've got a dog and it's doing this," regardless of what it's doing this. Can you come around and help? I say, yeah, no problem. Who lives with you? Oh, my husband, my children. I say, but they won't be here. I'll get rid of them so we can just chat. I'm like, no, I want them in the house, so I want them to listen.
Yeah.
You tend to find that people will listen to a stranger.
Yes. And
because you have the inside conflict, so you've got a relationship with your kid or your husband. So if you try to relay messages on to each other, you get conflict because the other one's like, shut up, you know what we're talking about. Yeah. But it's sometimes when you get someone else out on the outside to say, well, actually, no, you're right, or you're wrong. I've told the lady of the house that actually, no, you're wrong. Yeah. He's right, and that gets him. He normally smirks like, yeah, I got that, and she's like, yeah, cooking your own dinner tonight, mate. So that happens often. I'm not a psychiatrist. I just plant seeds. So we tend to find that when I go in there, I like to have everybody in. But the best way I tend to get people to do it is I give someone a specific job. Okay. So whether I go around there or mum does it, dad does it, or whatever, I try to give people a specific job. So we have a rota sort of system. Okay, so we all pick a little bit of what we want the dog to do. Okay, right. So let's say we're teaching the dog to pee on the mat. That's what we want to do. Yeah. So mum's job will be the actual physical side of it because she's the one that's going to do the work. Let's be honest, she's the one that's mainly going to do it most of the time.
So what you mean, like the cleaning of the?
No, the actual physical onto the mat. The dog pees, the reward, and all that sort of thing.
Okay, right.
So the mum's going to do that side of things. I tend to either give dad or child, depending on who reacts better, the job of watching body language and making a note of it.
Okay, yeah.
So every day I get someone to make a note. So before the dog peed, what do?
Right. Okay.
Make a note of it. They're the problem solver, because
Right.
what we can then do with them is go, oh, well, the dog does this little weird little walk every
Okay.
time, and you can tally that up, and you can. It's kind of like an investigation
Yeah.
about certain things.
Okay.
And the child, I tend to teach them how to do a trick.
Okay.
Okay, and then I link that trick into teaching the dog to ask to go out, or
Right.
ask to go on the mat, or something like that.
Okay.
Which we've discussed that we're going to have
Yeah.
my lovely
I
assistant.
think,
We're going to show that one.
yeah,
too.
absolutely. I think teaching your dog to ask is going to be so helpful
Yeah,
for everybody.
definitely.
I think that's a video we're going to do really quite
Yeah.
soon. So Dan's stepdaughter, she's going. How old are you, young lady? 12. Oh, 12. Okay, she looks about 19 to me. So you're going to teach your stepdaughter on video to teach a dog
Yep.
to ask to go out, and then we can share that with everybody.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, so we'll
That
do
would
it in
be
stages.
amazing.
I'll start that this week.
Then we can try with Banger.
Yeah, why not?
If
Why
you
not?
can teach Banger anything,
Yeah.
you need a medal the size of a
Yeah,
frying pan.
That's it. And the other thing that that I think holds a lot of people back, especially in this day and age. Everyone's so busy.
Yeah.
So we're out of the house a lot longer than we used to be. We're tired. By the time you get home and cook dinner, I mean, at the moment with our life, I get home and I sort the dogs out and things like that. And then by the time Anya gets home, and then we get dinner done, we sat down with eating dinner and we sit down in front of the TV for something. Put your feet
Yeah.
up. It's like 8:30, 9 o'clock already, isn't it?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So we're very busy. And so sometimes I think a lot of the time, especially the guys of the household, they tend to be like, you know what, I've been out working all day, I don't really want to be doing this. But with puppies, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That's literally all it takes. It's just to walk in before you get washed, change, just walk in, go, hi everyone, right, this is how you do it. Right, yeah, good boy, good boy, good boy. 5 minutes, you're done.
Yeah.
Because a dog, especially a puppy's attention span is so little anyway.
Yeah.
But also they take everything in like a sponge. So then
Okay.
5 minutes, if you make them decent quality training, 5 minutes, your dog will learn so much quicker.
And I think as well, especially with toilet training, it's not, hopefully, it's not going to go on for long.
No.
So it
no.
should be a couple of weeks, maybe a month or
Yeah,
so.
absolutely.
But as soon as they're toilet trained, life just is so much easier.
Absolutely.
And
So
all the arguments stop and your mum stops nagging you.
yeah, exactly. So my the first puppy I had, because my first dog was a rescue, but when I got my first puppy, it literally took her a week.
Right.
1 week,
Yeah.
she was toilet trained. She didn't go outside. She didn't mess in the house.
Yeah.
She asked to go outside, and that just took a week. Now she was very clever, to be fair, in her defence. My second puppy I had, 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
He had the occasional mishap, of course. He's only a puppy, but 2.5 weeks. He was asking to go out the same thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've been doing it a long time, and I know the signals, and I can get the timing right. But it really doesn't take long.
No.
It really doesn't. Yeah, as long as you stick to the rules, you don't get frustrated, you don't do the punishment, and you try to avoid any sort of play and any sort of attention-seeking behaviours, your dog will pick it up like that.
Okay, so to summarise then, if you are in a household with other people, accept that it's going to be a lot of focus for a short period of time to crack the problem. Give other members of the household a job or a task.
Yep.
I love that idea of with young adults or teenagers, kids, making them the sort of dog investigator and watching doggy body language. Because that's what it's all about, isn't
Yep.
it? It's about spotting those signals. So what job would you give a dad?
Stay out of the way most of the time.
Oh.
No, I'm joking.
all
I'm
dads,
joking.
all
No.
dads are good. Yeah.
Yeah, thank God for that. I can just sit down. No, so tend to find again. It's not so much that dads don't listen or they don't want to do it. It's a lot of the time they just deal with it.
Yes.
Whereas the lady of the household was like, well, yeah, we're going to deal with it, but we're going to do it properly.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's like asking for directions.
Okay.
We'll find our way there at some stage. Whereas you'll be like, well, no, I'll just pull over and just ask this guy. He'll tell us where to go.
So not go round. the
Exactly.
block for
Yeah.
us.
So we'll get there eventually. We'd like to go the long way around. So with the guys, it really obviously depends on the guy. So you'll have a stereotypical macho guy who's kind of like, well, we just get on with it. But you'll have guys that are really interested. And when I start speaking, I think it does help. I've got a trainer friend of Milton Keynes, Jenny, who she sometimes will kind of push men towards me.
Okay.
Because she's a woman, so
Right.
a lot of
I
times
wish
you
people
get
would push men towards me.
Yeah.
Can I say that?
Hello?
Sorry.
So that's a whole different conversation we're having there. so I can go. So you'll have the lots of Jenny, not necessarily just Jenny, but female dog trainers can go and speak to a guy.
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, and they're kind of like, whereas, especially if the woman's going, good boy, you need to do all that sort of thing. Guys are like, I'm not doing that.
Yes.
I'm not saying good boy and all that.
Yeah,
And then I go around there skinhead tattoo and look like I'm going to rob your house. And then I'm saying the exact same thing.
Yeah.
The men tend to listen, so I get a bit better response from men. But in general, the guys I tend to give smaller and quicker tasks. In all honesty, so it is about the moment the dog pees on the mat, just go, yeah, good boy, and then get out of the way.
No, not the rug, the mat.
The mat. So when they pee on the mat, I tend to say to the guy, right, you're the one needs to go in there, good boy, and reward the dog, and then get the dog out of the way.
Yeah.
So that whatever needs to be done and cleaned and whatever afterwards.
Cool.
But because it's quick, it's easy, and it doesn't require much thinking.
Yeah.
So they can just do it.
Oh, we're going to get in so much trouble.
Yeah, probably. I'm a guy, but I can get away with it.
Yeah.
I'm a guy. It's allowed. However, I do have a lot of guys that as soon as I start talking to them and they start to see that this is working, they tend to get much more stuck in.
Okay.
So start off small, start off easy and quick, especially if you live in a busy lifestyle.
Yeah.
Small, easy, quick and rewarding, so that the guy can just do it, reward and walk away. He'll get the bonding with the dog and things like that, okay, and he'll get the pride of the dog actually going in where they want it to do. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Okay.
With minimal amount of time having to be spent, because obviously, like I said, we all live very busy lives.
Yeah.
And then as they start to see progress, then they can get more involved. But I like to give the guys the same sort of things that I give the child as well. So teach the dog trick.
Yeah.
In order to lead up to how we're going to do that. But as I said, we're going to do the video on that, and I'll post a link up for that.
So certainly within
Can I just interject?
Mm-hmm.
I've got a someone's after advice. Charlotte's after advice.
Hi, Charlotte.
She's got a Rottweiler that's crated at night and has no accidents, but it's penned off in the day, but he just goes in one corner and they can't get him to stop. He's let out at 8, and then 10:30, and then at 2, and then they're home at 5. And they're just after a bit of advice.
So it's crated in the day.
It's crated at night, and it's got a pen in the day. Yeah.
Okay, and it's weeing, going to the toilet in
one corner. Yeah.
And is it a puppy then?
Doesn't say.
And she doesn't want it to go into the loo while she's out.
I'm presuming in that one corner. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Okay, so a couple of questions of that. One, is it a puppy? And if so, how old? Second thing is, what are you cleaning up with? What product are you using?
Oh yeah, good point.
Okay, and
product sales coming up.
Yeah.
Morning.
But not necessarily product sales, but I want to know the sort of products you're using. Okay, and
explain why. What are the wrongs? There's a bottle over there. You want to wait for
the main thing is
Pass that over there.
the main thing is bleach-based products.
Yeah, not to use them.
Not to use them.
Don't use bleach.
Okay, so that's where I'm going with it. So if it's a bleach-based product, you can encourage the dog to scent mark over the top of it, because they're not actually too dissimilar in smells within certain degrees of the ammonia and things like that in them. So you can actually effectively train your dog to pee in a corner by accident by using bleach. Okay, so just make sure you're not using that. Obviously, dogs age. I mean, I appreciate they're not being left. They're only being left for a few hours at a time. So my last question would be, if they don't pee in the crate at night and you're happy for them to be left at night, why wouldn't you leave them in the crate during the day? Especially if they're only there for a couple of hours at a time.
Okay.
Just think about that for a minute. What is the reason behind it? If your dog's happy in a crate at night, I'd put them in the crate during the day and then see if that will fix the problem, because again, it's a habit breaking.
Right. Yeah.
And they're clearly happy in that. Dogs they're not really a den animal, but they're very den animal like, so they will try to avoid going in their little area. That's why I like crates quite often. If your dog's happy in one, obviously it needs to be trained correctly. It's not punishment. It's a good place. Then use the crate, especially if your dog is already happy with it. Yeah. That's what I would do personally. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I mean, seriously, from a product point of view, because we are the dog wee specialist, our Pong Buster comes in all different sizes. This is a little one from the Puppy Pee Kit. It's been especially developed to eradicate all the dog wee odours, as well as kill the bugs. So there are various different doggy products on the market, but just don't use something that's bleach-based.
Yeah, bleach-based. And also, when it comes to bleach-based products, obviously bleach is poisonous. Obviously, it's dangerous to your dogs and things like that. And this is all sort of natural stuff. This is all safe for your dog. However, some of the sprays that you might be able to get in some of the pet stores, although they're safe for animals, they sometimes can contain a very small amount of bleach. Now, with obviously the sense of smell a dog has, they can smell that. Just because you can't, doesn't mean they can't.
Right, okay, fair enough.
So some of them, they still have bleach in it, so it can still work the same way.
Okay, so I hope that helps. Anything else on there, Paula?
Not at the moment.
But do by all means either ask further or speak to Dan directly, and Dan can help you with that. So I don't know what we're talking about then.
Oh, we were talking about families, getting families together to train, but I think we kind of...
No, I think what I was going to say was, in my family, what I always do is whenever I come home, the first thing that I do before I've even really spoken to the dog, so I just get in and I always go straight out into the garden and tell them to go for a wee and physically take them into the garden. So I'll go actually out I won't just open the door, but I'll go out in the garden with them. Pug and Banger don't wee in the house at all. In fact, annoyingly, they don't even wee in my garden. So I will try and get them to wee in the garden. Unless they're desperate, they won't. But then the next thing I'll do is put them on their leads and take them out. So I haven't sat down, I haven't got comfy, I've still got my shoes and coat on. But they know the minute I'm coming in that we're going straight back out again for their wees.
And it's going back onto actually toilet training itself. It's a very important thing. When you come in, your dog's excited, they're going to go for a wee. Yeah,
and I ignore them completely, and always have with my puppies. But I could not ask anybody else to do that for me.
No.
So, and it would drive me mad. It would just completely drive me bonkers. So if I know that they need to go for a wee, because they've been on their own for hours, and if I'm saying to somebody, oh, please take the dogs out, and they're like, oh, hang on, I'm just doing that, I would just go into a hammer and scissor attack, I think. Because you know that the dogs are desperate for a wee, so that's my job. I don't even ask. It's not a conversation about it. Come in, take them straight out for wees.
And again, we're getting back onto the routines. Obviously, with Anya and Lacey, who've moved in with me, we've got a little routine that we've got. So I tend to be the one that feeds all the dogs, because I know off the top of my head how much they have, things like that. So I come in, I do that. And then Lacey's in control of water.
Okay.
So small. Easy. Have they got water? No, bang, she's got the water out.
Okay.
So it's easy. And then once we finalise a few more details, then Lacey's going to have some more stuff to do with the dog. So her particular thing will be like trick training. I want you to teach your dog to do this. So she can do little bits and bobs every week, which forms a great bond with them. And then obviously Anya, me, walking, things like that, feeding and stuff like that as well. So we've got the really important tasks to do that we know needs to be done, and then Lacey will have the task that I want to be done. However, it's going to be fun at the same time. So that's how I get Lacey to also engage. But it does help. Anya and Lacey have got their own dog, which obviously they bring with us, so they're used to dogs anyway. But they've adjusted to my routine. So they've changed their dog Chili into my life, and their Chili fits in with my routine.
So you've had a sort of a combining of a new relationship, and they've joined you as a family, brought their dog, and so their dog's getting into the habit with your dogs and kind of working it as a new family unit. He's taken it really well. He's fitted in really well. Everything works nicely. Because obviously that's something that's quite common, isn't it? That people start new relationships and dogs have to come together, and with cats and other family members. It can be a bit difficult. Okay, so is there any other questions at all?
No, not at the moment. Well, hopefully that's straightforward then.
That was all.
Hopefully everyone's gone, oh right, sweet, got it, right, and moving
on. So really quickly to summarise, our first thing, if they're ripping up their puppy pee pads, ideally don't use traditional puppy pee pads, because they smell and feel like rugs, and you're basically just teaching your dog to pee on the carpet. But if they are ripping them up, ignore them. If you come in and they've shredded them, ignore them, just tidy them up, put the dogs outside so they can't see you tidying up. If you catch them at it, don't start the ragging game. Just teach them. If you know it's a problem, you know that you're going to have to teach your dog to leave it. That's what I would say. You say out.
I say out. Well, I say out to Joey, but Yogi knows leave it.
Okay, but we all think that if you've got a puppy, one of the best things to do is to teach it to leave it. when they're eating fag ends, in Banger's case. Banger loved eating cigarette ends when she was a puppy, or various things that they'll find. So if you have got a puppy who's messing about, teach it to leave it as soon as humanly possible. Or if you're still struggling, maybe use some of the incontinence things that from boots that stick to the floor, so they're physically more difficult to get up. Or Velcro your grass mat to the tray.
Yeah, I like that idea actually, the Velcro and the grass mat to the tray. It's a good one.
Yeah,
I like that one.
That works really well.
Yeah.
And bearing in mind that it's only for a short period of time, you're not going to have Velcroed artificial grass.
Yeah, we'll have your house forever.
Unless you're a bit strange. There might be a market in that somewhere.
Well, you never know.
So that's the first thing, and then the second thing is, in the family, give everybody a little job to do. Keep it simple for the guys. And then the children can have something a bit more complicated. Yeah.
Most of the time, not all the time.
Okay,
not all the time.
Okay.
Most of the time.
But split it up and have very set jobs. And then we're going to do you all a video of teaching your dog to ask to go out, because oh my god, that would be so much easier.
Yeah.
I know, just to answer a couple of the questions that were put in the group for you. The same question, we pretty much always get the same one big problem, don't we? It's, why do I put my dog out, it stays out for ages, and then it comes back in and pees on the floor. So I know I had Tracy in the group, she was struggling with that, I think Natalie as well. And we have done a video on that, but it's basically to remember the dog doesn't understand you're putting it out to go to the loo. It's just another exciting game. Being outside is quite scary and quite alarming. So they quite often don't want to go out. And they've been taught to wee indoors, and they see that's where they're safe and they're comfortable. So it might be the best thing is, if rather than go back over that again, we direct you all to the video where we've really covered that in detail. Yeah,
good idea. Yeah, we'll put the link back in the thing.
Okay.
So yeah, so we'll add the link for that. We'll add the link for the puppy group, and then I'll put the link up of Joey doing the out. So you can see how quick that is. And then if anyone wants to know how to learn that, you've got the puppy group you can join, or you can message me directly and we can go through that sort of things as well.
Okay, so I hope we haven't confused you all. Basically, if you want to know more about toilet training and you're not in the Top Dog toilet training group, get in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
You'll be able to get Dan and myself and another trainer, Vicky, in there.
Vicky tends to be very good on. She's quite quick at responding to people. I've noticed as well.
Absolutely, but she lives miles away, so we can't drag her into.
No, we can't. No, it's a bit of a drive for her, bless her. But yeah, she's normally pretty quick, and she's, from everything I've seen, she's pretty much exactly the same sort of advice that I give as well. So
she's brilliant in the group.
Absolutely.
And then we're going to make a couple of videos how to ask your dog to ask to go out, and how to teach leave it or whatever, to stop it eating its pads.
Yeah, sounds great.
Cool beans. So thank you very much, everybody, and we'll crack on with that, and we'll see you soon.
We'll see you soon. Take care.
Bye.